Parker, I'm sorry, man. I mean, we're not even into May yet, and I feel like your Red Sox have had more storylines in the last 2 months than most teams have in a season. And here we are. The Red Sox are flipping over seemingly their entire coaching staff today. Alex Cora and many others are gone.
Yeah, man. The Red Sox just beat the brakes off of the Orioles today, 17-1. One game doesn't save your managerial job. That's fine. It's just interesting that these type of things always happen at like the weirdest moments for the Red Sox. Like last year, the trade for Rafael Devers happened right after sweeping the Yankees. This year, firing Alex Cora happens right after beating the Orioles 17-1. By far the most runs the Red Sox have scored in a single game. So the full list of people that's been fired, just so we have it all out there. Manager Alex Cora is out. Hitting coach Pete Fatse and his assistant Dylan Lawson is out. Bench coach Ramon Vazquez is out. Third base coach Kyle Hudson is out. And hitting strategy coach Joe Cronin is out. That's a lot of guys. That's a lot. It's a big turnover. But the thing that sticks out to me is actually is not the people that were fired. It's the people that were not fired. I know coldest take in the world. People wanted either Breslow or Cora gone. Breslow seemingly safe. And the interesting part about the coaches that were kept on the staff, Andrew Bailey, the pitching coach, who has been successful, but the pitching staff has been very underwhelming this season. It's actually arguable. Like the offense has been bad, but like everything's been bad, and the pitching staff was supposed to be like top 5 in the game, and it's not.
Yeah.
So I thought that was interesting, and then also to go along with that, does the name Kyle Boddy ring a bell at all when I bring it up?
Yes, because he's the Driveline guy, isn't he?
He's the founder of Driveline. He's also a member of the Red Sox coaching staff. And he is staying on board. So to me, when you take the most analytically driven guys in the entire organization, Breslow, Bailey, Kyle Boddy, and they have kept their jobs, and you have gotten rid of Alex Cora, Jason Varitek, Ramon Vazquez, these old school baseball guys, you have definitively put a line in the sand and said this organization is now in the hands of Craig Breslow, and it is going to be a Yale, Harvard, analytic, sabermetric driven organization from the ground up. And that hurts my soul as a baseball fan.
I know it hurts your soul. How many times have we talked about it here and openly criticize and make fun of Craig Breslow for Breslow for those sort of things? I really I don't know where to start here, Parker. I want to get your thoughts in more detail. I know you're feeling a lot of things, but we went back and forth earlier today when this first broke over text about just thinking about when this has happened in baseball with any success. And I think you and I both immediately went to when the Phillies let go Joe Girardi, big name, put Rob Thompson in place, and no one knew anything about Rob Thompson, and look what happened with him, right? He led the Phillies to multiple playoff appearances, and the rest was history. But even that, Parker, I'm pretty sure that was more so just Girardi and not a whole staff. I mean, I find it hard to flip over a whole staff and think that you're going to really make a change here in 2026, that is going to have a drastic impact on the team. Like, I understand they want to win. They make the move because clearly there's issues. But how do you not just write 2026 off? I hate to even go there, but it's a good question, right?
Yeah. So before I get into this, please like the video, subscribe, make sure that you're watching everything else that we put on the channel. Because as we're speaking right now, there's another video that I did that I recorded solo. It's like 20 minutes of me just kind of like vamping about the entire thing and try to get everything off of my chest. And in that, I did reference the Joe Girardi firing as well, because Joe Girardi spent 2020 and 21 as the manager of the Phillies after being brought on in October of 2019. They underperformed both seasons. And then in the spring of 2022, or at least early summer, the Phillies fired him on June 3rd, and they were 22-29, 7 games under 500. And then Rob Thompson is immediately named the interim manager same day. And then the rest is history. The Phillies go on to lose the World Series, but they made it to the World Series with Rob Thompson at the helm. He retains the managerial position, and here we are today. That, like you said, that is the first. Now, as an optimistic baseball fan who wants my team to do well, that's the first thing I think of. But to your point, that was not a full coaching staff overhaul. That was get Joe Girardi out of here and get Rob Thompson in here. The Red Sox have already fired basically their entire coaching staff. They have announced some of the coaches that are going to be taking over. AAA manager for the Worcester Red Sox, Chad Tracy, is now taking over as the interim big league manager. And the AA manager, which, forgive me for not knowing his name right off the top of my head, he is taking over as the third base coach for the Red Sox in an interim status. I think that it's interesting that they don't go outside the organization immediately. I think it's interesting that they go with the two managers of the two teams that most of the players, the young players who need to develop in this organization in order for it to be healthy, the young guys who were developed by these two managers on this big league roster are many. And if they have some sort of a relationship with them that can continue to try to squeeze more juice out of those players, then that's good. I do think that there's been some disciplinary issues in the clubhouse this year. It has kind of been leaking out of the cracks a little bit. You know, we had the benching or scratching from the lineup of Carlos Narváez very weirdly in the second series of the year. It turns out that was maybe some showing up to the ballpark late issues. We had Marcelo Meyer throughout camp. It was very public about the fact that he needed to learn how to be a big leaguer in terms of preparation, being there on time when you show up to the ballpark, things like that. And then recently, Roman Anthony is day-to-day right now with a back injury, and recently he was photographed out late at night, even because he knew he wasn't going to be in the lineup the next day. And while that's not like the end of the world, he's a 21-year-old, it's a bad look. And so you start to wonder, like, what control over the clubhouse did Alex Cora have? And hopefully there could be more control that is, or at least just a better relationship that's fostered by Chad Tracy and the rest of these minor league Red Sox system, staff who, I mean, let's put it out there. The Red Sox have a very good developmental pipeline. And if they can take some of that energy and put it up into the big league ball club to develop some of these younger players, maybe you do see a eventual improvement. But I don't think this is the kind of team that's going to start winning, 2 out of 3 games most series just because they have the AAA manager come up and start managing the big league ball club.
Going back to Craig Breslow for a second, I know you have strong feelings about what he's done up to this point and just the type of insight he brings to the chief baseball officer role, because baseball's business now and we have chief baseball officer roles. What's his runway here? I mean, like you said, maybe this is the ownership's decision calling out, saying like, hey, Breslow is our guy, he's going to make this team in his vision. Now that starts with the coaching staff going into 2027 certainly. But one thing I think about when I think about a guy like Breslow and what the Red Sox have done up to this point, when you look at the moves, the trades, the developmental pipeline you mentioned, are they just trying to do the Brewers and the Rays thing, when that's just not a Red Sox approach? Like no. I can't help but think that they're trying to do that. They haven't put up the big Red Sox bucks we've seen them do in the last 15 years. That's gone away. Breslow comes
Alex
in.
Bregman over $10 million.
Right. Like the Boston Red Sox should not operate like that. Not entirely, right? I think developing players is great. Taking the sabermetric approach to a degree is certainly helpful. But I really hope they're not going in all in on this, because it's going to be some pain for Red Sox fans coming up if that's the case.
So Tony Maserati, who's a famous, I think I mentioned him last show. He's a very big Red Sox not beat writer. He spent a long time on the beat, but he's currently a member of 98.5, the Sports Hub radio station up in the New England area. He's written several books, including Terry Francona's, I believe he wrote Terry Francona's kind of bio of his time in Boston, the Francona years. He certainly wrote several other books like Dynasty and things like that. he has been saying for years that the Red Sox have this problem where they tinker too much with players that don't necessarily need to be tinkered. They think that they can squeeze more out of a player than they're currently giving by changing too many different things. I mean, the best example of it right now is James Tibbs. James Tibbs had a bunch of his mechanics changed the second he got to the Red Sox organization. He didn't like it. He goes on to a new organization. The Dodgers tell him, hey, go back to what you're comfortable with. Go back to what you were doing when you were at Florida State. And now he's maybe the best minor league baseball player in the country right now.
Yeah.
Same thing happens to Kyle Harrison, which, again, I think this reflects poorly. Being that Kyle Harrison and the other guy that the Red Sox traded to the Brewers that ended up being pretty good, I forget his name, but there's been two of them in the last year.
Durbin.
Like, how did Andrew? No, not Durbin. Pitcher. Starting pitcher. Anyway, there's two starting pitchers the Red Sox have traded to the Brewers in the last year that Andrew Bailey supposedly just couldn't figure out. And it's like, okay, like what kind of a pitching? We're supposed to be this pitching lab, and what are we doing?
Yeah.
And so I don't know. I'm at the point now where I'm just kind of ranting about how broken up about this I am. I don't have concise thoughts. I don't have clear thoughts. If you want more concise, thought out, I took my time thoughts on this, definitely watch my video that I put up on the channel. But like, I'm just in this mental state where the most influential thing that I've seen come out about this is actually a Yankees beat writer by the name of Erik Boland, who I'll put everything on screen right now for him. One sec.
While you're putting that up, Quinn Priester
17
was who you're thinking of.
Quinn Priester.
Quinn Priester.
Exactly. Okay, so let's see if this pops up on screen as I try to put it on there. This is a tweet by Erik Boland, who's a Yankees beat writer. Don't cover the Red Sox, obviously, but can say this with 100% certainty when it comes to the industry. Alex Cora is overwhelmingly considered far better at his job than Craig Breslow is at his. And it's not remotely close. And you know, I 100% agree with that. If I had been able to pick my way of doing this particular get rid of the coaching staff, it would have been fire Breslow, promote Cora to Breslow's position. That would have been what I wanted to do. And then have somebody like Ramon Vazquez take over as the manager. I don't know, man. I've been talking for a while. Go ahead.
No, I mean, I'm like you. I don't know that we have enough time to wrap our head around it, but we just couldn't not address it tonight because 2026 is going to be interesting. Like you said, I think there is a lot of questions around Breslow. It's going to be interesting to see how he approaches the coaching staff at the end of this season. But even with Breslow, I am interested to see the runway that he gets from ownership, because if this is now, and this is the side effect of Breslow doing this and the ownership group keeping Breslow, is now everything going forward is on Breslow. It is. And so
it can't be anyone else anymore. Like, it's got to be this guy to take the responsibility.
100%. And he will. And so, wow, something we'll continue to follow, Parker. Any last words on this, or should people just go to your long counseling session you did earlier today?
One last absolutely hilarious thing. First of all, I didn't mention Chris Cotillo of Mass Live reported that Sam Kennedy, the CEO of the Red Sox, and Craig Breslow will be doing a presser in Baltimore tomorrow morning. So I will probably put something up on the internet after that takes place. But also just wanted to throw this out here. You can't really see it in the picture, but the Red Sox hired a coach service, a bus and coach service for the coaches to go home after they were fired. And the name on the side of the vehicle, it's called Coaches for Hire. Feel like we could have gone with a different limo service.
Wow, that is an absolute great way to end it, and we will end it there. Make sure you're tuning into what Parker has to say, because here at Rally Cap, Parker's all about talking about the Red Sox and the pain that he is now feeling. Make sure you're following and liking everything we do here at Rally Cap. Thanks, everybody. Take care.